Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. In today's show, we'll be traveling via the tracks, the road, and then sea. We have an interesting show lined up just for you, focusing on different modes of transportation and the use of our roadways. You don't want to miss it. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Stay tuned.
More life.
More memories.
More moments.
Jamaica Moves is a call to action to prevent non-communicable diseases. Get active, eat healthy. You can protect yourself from high blood pressure, obesity, asthma, certain cancer diseases, and more.
Good evening, parents, teachers, principals, and students. I would like to extend Happy New Year wishes to all families. May this year bring you and your families great joy, peace, harmony, good health, and prosperity. We thank you for your caring support and partnership in working together with your children. The new year is a wonderful time to discuss our own family values and how to make a difference in the lives of others. Discussions that will set the tone for effective communication throughout the new year. Families are encouraged to seize the opportunity to celebrate personal achievements and to set individual and family goals. This year, our key goal is to maximize students' achievement in all areas. We know each student is an individual, bringing unique talents and needs to school every day. We pride ourselves on the opportunities that the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information has made available to help each student or child to succeed. These opportunities are included in our National Standards curriculum, which ensures that each student is challenged appropriately while building a foundation of knowledge and skills. In addition to basic core subjects, students have access to electives, extracurricular activities, and other resources that help them develop their strengths, interests, and talents, whether in the arts, history, athletics, STEM, or other areas. I pay respect and give thanks to the host of tireless principals, teachers, and administrators, to the Jamaica Teachers Association and other professional bodies who have collaborated in the educational transformation process during this administration. They and the increasing number in the private sector, civil society, and the diaspora who recognize education as the hub of personal and national development are true nationalists. My friends, I'm very proud of this ministry that I lead as we continue to grow and inspire each other to achieve our best. Recently, the 0 to 3 Brain Builders program was launched. 12 of the planned 126 institutions began in September 2018, and another 6 are scheduled to open soon. A total of 136 early childhood institutions have been fully certified to date, and many more across the island are working hard to achieve the 12 standards required for full certification. Improvements have been seen in all major assessments such as GSAT, Grade 4 Literacy and Numeracy, CSEC, CAPE, NVQJ, CVQ, and City and Guilds. During this new school term, together we must focus on sustaining this positive momentum in student achievement. The overall improved student performance, particularly in the core subjects of English and mathematics, points to the initial success of several teaching and learning initiatives introduced by the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. Parents and guardians, thank you for playing your part with your voluntary contributions to your respective institutions. They go a far way in funding co-curricular activities and school infrastructure projects. As we prepare for the first sitting of the primary profile examination, beginning with the abilities component next month, I remind you that there is a special website as well as an app with useful information such as relevant exam dates, curricula, lesson plans, and sample items for each exam. We have successfully completed the implementation of the National Standards curriculum, including providing assistance totaling $77 million for the execution of the curriculum in primary schools. All systems are on track for successful implementation of the primary exit profile examination. The alternative pathway to secondary education program, a 7-year period, grades 7 to 13 of instruction for students on all secondary pathways, has been fully implemented. The ministry has also effected an additional 2 years in our school system to provide students with skills and competencies required for work. This has been made possible under the framework of the Career Advancement Program, CAP, which has been introduced in 202 institutions so far and is working well for our young people. The integration of STEM in the education system continues. Over $100 million was provided to schools to upgrade science areas. The Center of Occupational Studies now has enrolled over 1,000 students. The first graduation of over 400 students took place in November of last year. The government of Jamaica has provided examination subsidies for secondary level students sitting exit examinations in 2019. Full subsidy payment is being made for up to 8 subjects for students on the PATH program and wards of the state who are eligible to receive the support. Full subsidy means the government will cover the cost of all fees associated with the examination, which includes entry fee, subject fees, practical fees, fees for orals, and all other fees related to the subject. The ministry has committed 1,140 scholarships between 2018 and 2020 to support the training of 135 mathematics teachers, 150 physics and chemistry teachers, 120 technical vocational education teachers, and 650 engineers. Over $300 million is being utilized to support students at the tertiary level for this financial year. The Cabinet approved the full rollout of the Tablets in Schools program in 1,106 education institutions and a pilot Bring Your Own Device program in 25 institutions. The Overseas Examinations Commission, OEC, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, delivered on its commitment to enhance information and communication technology capabilities of selected secondary schools across the island. This commitment was followed by an investment of $250 million. As of last January, 26 secondary level schools, which were previously earmarked to benefit under the first tranche of this initiative, started to receive ICT equipment, inclusive of computers, software, and security systems. To date, deliveries of 30 computer systems have been made to 26 schools. Through all the initiatives, over 6,000 computers and aided devices will be provided to schools at all levels. This is progress. In closing, I commend the army of dedicated teachers who stuck to their task last year and made measurable improvements in the educational status of their students. That is the bottom line. Moving a student forward from the initial stage that you met him or her, I challenge teachers and school leaders to keep the positive momentum going in order to make the achievement of excellence a norm. My fellow Jamaicans, please remember that families and other community members play a critical role as partners in supporting both your students at home and work in the schools. We look forward to working with you throughout the year to make important decisions that impact both your child as an individual and the school as a whole. As a continuation of this partnership, we hope you will join the PTA, participate in regular consultations with your child's teachers, get involved with their school activities. Please do not hesitate to contact any of the ministry's regional offices if you have any questions or concerns. Good evening, and I wish you God's richest blessings.
Record low unemployment, concrete action in protecting the environment, major infrastructural advancements, accelerated developments in housing.
Who remember when train did a do track in Jamaica? One ticket and you're gone mobile and back like you never left. Those were the days indeed. Some of you are probably wondering, what am I talking about? Because all you see nowadays is really bus, car, and plane about the place. Come make we take a trek down memory lane.
Asphalt is the not so new but most popular way of getting around the country. But before that development, Jamaica was known for the rail. A cutting-edge technology in our nation's earlier years, the railroad industry has done a great deal for the development of Jamaica. Come with us as we take a step back in time while traversing the metal tracks of our country.
The inaugural run of the railway in Jamaica actually took place on the 21st of November, 1845. However, the competition as to whether the Jamaican rail system or the Canadian system was the first in the Western Hemisphere outside of Europe and particularly Britain would have to deal with whether when the proclamation and the order to get the railway started, if you use that as the starting date, it's actually 1842 and not 45. The rail service became necessary in Jamaica after the abolition of slavery in 1838. You needed a replacement in the production cycle of getting sugar cane to the market, and a cheap means of transport was necessary, or became the necessary element as a replacement for cheap labor. And therein lies the rub as to why rail makes sense, not only then but now in Jamaica.
Entrenched in the rich dirt soil of the land, the wheels of the railroad industry began to turn, and things were looking hopeful for the nation.
The operating costs for carrying one coach is pretty much the same from a marginal cost standpoint as carrying 100 coaches. So you put together what is called a train consist that gives you an efficiency, bar none, when it comes to land transport in moving people or in moving goods from one point to the next over extended long distance. The economics of that make a lot of sense in cheaper transport costs. So who benefits? The consumer. There is also savings from less accidents. It is a safer means of transport than other land transport means. So it's not only less costly or the most cost-effective land transport, it's also the safest means of land transport. Our history and our record is that we actually is one of the safest railway in the world during our operation.
But something or things happened that shook the railroad industry as a form of public transportation. Maybe not forever, but for a period far too long to ever forget. For the wheels just stopped turning.
The operation ended because the use of rail for passenger service on a national scale was not as economic as it needed to be. And without subsidy, the corporation found it difficult to continue. Passenger rail has not been in operation since 1990, but other operations such as cargo has been in operation.
April 16, 2011 witnessed the reinstatement of trains into the formal transportation system. It's a work in progress.
Revitalization plan that we have will make significant economic development contribution to Jamaica. I know there are concerns about whether, like other public transport, it will have to be subsidized. No. We will operate a business model that requires no subsidy from government. We have studies that show that a link from Kingston to Montego Bay alone, nowhere else, just Kingston to Montego Bay alone, will add $100 million per annum to the GDP. That's separate and apart from the labor value added, which is another $5 to $10 million annually. All the ripple effect of the communities along the route that will be developed for tourism. The business case suggests that you make significant financial gains or benefit in those areas. The first revitalized component will be from Montego Bay to Appleton, and that in itself tells you what one of the main attractions is. It also opens up the Wise Fall, the South Coast, and a number of other attractions that are in the interior of the island. We kind of had lost that vision once. We have recognized that again, and we are therefore pushing full steam ahead to ensuring that the rail revitalization plan for Jamaica come on stream, take off, and that we'll be back on track with rail operation in the near future.
So, if you missed the train the last time around, don't worry, because pretty soon we'll be traveling the metal rails again.
On our roads, remember, take time, be courteous, drive good, walk good. Don't drink alcohol and drive. Don't drive tired or sleepy. Don't tailgate and don't overtake unless it is safe to do so. And always drive at a speed which will allow you time to stop quickly and safely. Let's keep it safe on our roads.
Red, amber and green are the colors of the traffic light which indicate whether you stop or go at an intersection. Have you ever wondered how they work? Check this out.
Traffic signal, as we refer to it as, it's a system of electronic controls that we use to assist in managing traffic at particular locations along our corridors. In managing the flow, there's a system. We have mast arms. We have the signal heads. Signal heads are what you'll see, the lights, whether green, amber, or red. We have wires that are connected to a control box. The control box has a number of components that assist us in managing the flows through the intersection or junction. Now, before we actually signalize an intersection or junction, we do traffic counts. So we know where it is the bulk of the vehicles are coming from or they're heading to. You want to have that information so that in setting the timings, in rehearsing the timings for persons to go through, you know what amount of green time you're going to be giving to a particular phase of the intersection as opposed to another. Our traffic signals, the systems are on a fiber optic network that is actually right across the country. So we have a combination of fiber and microwave links that we're using to roll out what we call a public safety network. And the systems that we have been incorporating our camera systems with these, and so we're able to monitor traffic through our traffic management center that we have at the corporate office 140 Maxfield Avenue, and it gives us the ability to change the timings that we have at these locations remotely. In other words, we don't have to have our officers physically going to the location, changing the timings.
In the Traffic Management Center, we have something called QuickNet. So in present day right now, this is what we use to remotely manage all traffic lights. What you're seeing on the screen now is a virtual display of what is in the cabinet at the intersection via our traffic camera. At the first display, you can see it. This is our Model 170 controller. This is what we use as a standard in Kingston. So right now you can see all the visual displays. This is what exactly you see in a traffic cabinet. Beside it, you see a graphical representation of what is happening at the stoplight. So at the cameras, you can see two true movements and a turning movement, moving from green to amber to red. And now you can see the two turning movements start. So you can see two turning movements and a left turning movement happening right now, as well as a forward turning movement at the next part of the intersection. So the graphic can show you the plan, the status, the cycle length, offset values, traffic statistics. So using this, you can see if the stoplight is working efficiently or not. So this will tell us if the stoplight is down, off, in any problem or whatever. So before people have to call and report a stoplight is down, with this system, when everything is integrated, you won't have to. You automatically know. What you're seeing now on the screen is a viewing of Halfway Tree area, the Kingston metropolitan area, where we can now monitor traffic remotely. So before, to put up a traffic light, somebody would have to go months prior and record the traffic data to put up a signal. Now we can have somebody here remotely counting traffic, as well as several different other specialized cameras to count the traffic for us. So specifically, we can look at specific intersections, say for this one example. If we see the traffic is building up, we can allot more time to a specific intersection to allow the true traffic to flow.
We have well over 100 locations across the country where we have signals, and the number continues to grow because every year we look at new locations to signalize. The demand is quite high, and the demand grows with the numbers of vehicles that we are seeing on our roads.
Safety of our citizens, the security of our public spaces, the protection of our borders remain the mandate of the ministry.
And firm actions were taken in 2018 to reinforce national security measures. Keep watching Jamaica Magazine on this station for our review of major achievements of the Ministry of National Security.
The seas call them home. Home. Where the northeast trade winds dance through the sounds of reggae. Where the cockpit country shadows the world's fastest man, the vanguard of the Caribbean. The seas call them home, home to Jamaica. Jamaica is the third largest island in the Caribbean and the largest English-speaking island state, with the seventh largest natural harbor in the world, essential for a robust shipping industry. Jamaica also has the second largest transshipment hub in the Caribbean. These developments are driven by a commitment to honor the international maritime conventions that Jamaica has signed, establishing a maturing partnership with the International Maritime Organization, IMO. This 40-year partnership brings consistent advocacy for the maritime interests of Jamaica, the Caribbean and the small island developing states and the least developed countries. The seas carry them on, shaping an expansive and progressive maritime vision, fueling a structure and infrastructure of container, cruise and bulk cargo ports, maritime administration and ship registration, maritime education and training. This vision led to the expansion and upgrading of port facilities island-wide to capitalize on additional trade and larger ships accessing services through the newly expanded Panama Canal. The expansion positions Kingston as one of the region's major ports. The Port of Kingston is also equipped to offer a range of maritime logistical services. For example, operating as the regional hub for vehicles delivered to 23 destinations in Central America and the Caribbean. Through German Ship Repair Services Jamaica, the island also offers wet dock repair services and plans full ship repairs with a floating dry dock. Jamaica's commitment to a greener maritime environment guides its fuel diversification with the use of clean fuels, including natural gas. The prevention of maritime pollution is also integral in policy initiatives. As part of this thrust, Jamaica is now acceded to the Ballast Water Management Convention 2004 and is also the lead partnering country in the IMO's Global Ballast Partnerships Program. Bunkering is another key element of Jamaica's position as a major shipping center. We supply bunkers not only for vessels calling at Jamaican ports, including cruise ships, but also for those transiting across the wider Caribbean. Falmouth, Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, Port Antonio and Kingston, 5 cruise shipping ports, with the Falmouth Pier being purpose-built for the largest cruise ships in the world. These major cruise ports offer a full range of cruise passenger facilities and services. Awarded the world's leading cruise destination, Jamaica's unique attractions, diverse tourism and numerous recreational and cultural activities are equal sources of attraction for the creme de la creme of the seas, Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas, the world's largest cruise ship and other major cruise lines. The seas sends them out. Seafarers and shipping staff trained in Jamaica for international service are key to Jamaica's success as a maritime state. The Caribbean Maritime University, CMU, is the sole IMO-recognized maritime training institution in the English-speaking Caribbean for the training of officers. The CMU is now poised to satisfy the region's demands in the expanding maritime and logistics sectors with the opening of 5 satellite campuses. Through partnership with the Technical Cooperation Division of the IMO, Jamaica helps countries in the region meet their obligations under the International Convention on Standards of Training, Certification and Watchkeeping for Seafarers. Jamaica has also chaired for 10 years at the IMO, the organ responsible for the international rules for standards of training for seafarers. Jamaica is committed to reducing substandard shipping in the Caribbean. To meet this objective, the island has hosted the Secretariat of the Caribbean Memorandum of Understanding on Port State Control, CMOU, since 2004. In addition, Jamaica is host to the International Seabed Authority. 25 states now have permanent missions to support the regulation and control of all mineral-related activities of the authority. Partnering with the IMO Program of Integration for Women in the Maritime Sector, Jamaica has helped to mobilize maritime women in the region and strengthened their contribution to the safety, security and environmental protection of the maritime industry. Jamaica has also hosted the inaugural Regional Women in Maritime Association WEMAC conference. Its executive is led by a cohort of strong female leaders, including its first president, a Jamaican. The seas carry them through. Jamaica's long-standing advantages, highly developed shipping expertise, and a skilled and educated workforce has seen our maritime sector blossom into an invaluable resource for the Caribbean and the region. A maritime state, a maritime home, bridging the IMO with the Caribbean and the Americas.
Let's get together and feel alright.
Thanks for watching another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll do this all over again. Until then, send your feedback on today's show to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. Also, follow us on our social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, and of course, there's Twitter. Download our app on your Apple and Android devices, and you can also visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for more information. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.